Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, breaking news. President Trump fires Attorney General Pam Bondi. It's the second major cabinet shakeup in just weeks. The two spotted together 24 hours ago. What sources say was behind Bondi's ousting, failed political prosecutions, and the Jeffrey Epstein files. Tonight, who will replace her at the Justice Department? Pierre Thomas is standing by.
Booster ignition and lift off.
Breaking news in the historic mission to the moon, the critical next step for the Artemis 2 astronauts blasting toward the moon. Gio Benitez with late reporting. Tonight, oil prices are surging after President Trump's first primetime speech to the nation on the war in Iran. The president vowing to escalate the attacks, posting video of the bombing on the tallest bridge in the Middle East. Trump warning Iran to make a deal before it's too late. Iran firing back at Israel and the Gulf states, and the critical Strait of Hormuz essentially shut down. So how much higher could energy prices go? Rachel Scott reports from the White House. Just in tonight, the Army's top officer forced to step down. We'll go live to Martha Raddatz. The dramatic new body camera video of the arrest of Tiger Woods, accused of DUI. The moment officers realized it was the golfing great who rolled over his Range Rover and taking a field sobriety test.
So at this time, you are arrested for DUI. Yes, sir.
The stunning testimony from the doctor accused of trying to kill his wife on a hiking trail in Hawaii. The intense scrutiny by prosecutors. The dangerous back-to-back storms, tornadoes, destructive winds, and ice just as millions travel for the holidays. The chilling new video just coming in, a suspect shoving a man in front of a moving train. And a new development late today, a judge throws out most of actress Blake Lively's claims against Justin Baldoni. And America Strong tonight, the 8-year-old whose stuffed creation is now part of America's mission to the moon.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York.
On this Thursday night, the U.S. president threatens to bomb Iran back to the Stone Age.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
What he's saying about the Strait of Hormuz, plus new projections about where this leaves food and fuel prices. Jam-packed schedule. What's next for the Artemis 2 mission?
Entire half of the earth is spectacular.
Building tempo. There's a ton of curiosity. The playbook to create Toronto's new WNBA team. And shell-shocked. How the world's oldest tortoise,
after 200 years of watching humanity, he must be pretty disappointed in us.
became the center of a crypto scam.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. After the U.S. president's address to the nation, hopes have dimmed for a swift end to the war at the U.S.
This just in, President Trump issuing a powerful warning shot to the Iranian terror regime moments ago alongside a video. Here's what he said. The biggest bridge in Iran comes tumbling down, never to be used again. Much more to follow. It is time for Iran to make a deal before it is too late and there is nothing left of what still could become a great country. Laura, we're about to see the video here. You see the biggest bridge in Iran. Look at that.
Yeah.
Just tumbling. What a warning.
Well, by the way, this has been something that we've never seen before. The way the president has used videos, footage from all of these different attacks that the United States has done, there in Iran, I think has actually been really powerful. I don't ever remember another president doing this, but when you see that, you see the might of the States military. You see the consequences of not coming to the table, and you see the ultimate destruction of a country that is just going to continue. I actually think it's been really impressive to see how the president has continued to send warnings and continued to post videos like this. I think it's pretty masterful.
And he said, Harris, look, I'm going to bomb you into the Stone Age if you don't come to the table here, if you don't end this.
Yeah, something caught my eye, and it's important to know about this because the IDF today, too, has hit the financial center for how Iran pays, in most part, for its military. So that is critical to know. That happened in like the last 2 hours. The President Masoud Pezeshkian wrote a letter this week of Iran. And I thought this was fascinating. He wants people to see them differently. He says, despite its historical and geographical advantages at various times, Iran has never, in its modern history, chosen the path of aggression, expansion, colonialism, or domination. Goes on to say, and despite possessing military superiority over many of its neighbors, Iran has never initiated war. They hit Dubai, they hit all these, they've initiated war. Because no matter what was happening between the United States, Israel, and Iran decided to go to war with its neighbors.
You know, Guy, Iran has a choice here. They can surrender their uranium, they can end the ballistic missiles program, and they can tame their proxies.
They said no to all of that over and over again because they are fixated on getting nuclear weapons. And as we've learned from this regime repeatedly for decades, when they say death to America, they mean it. They take actions and steps to that effect.
This is Asia First.
Good Friday morning. I'm Julie Yu. The headlines this hour. A U.S.-Israeli strike hits a major highway link in Iran, one that's been described as the tallest bridge in the Middle East. President Donald Trump threatening more destruction if Iran doesn't meet Washington's demands for a ceasefire, while the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says strikes on civilian infrastructure won't force his country to surrender.
I'm Arnold Gay. China tells the UN Security Council it opposes the use of force as it prepares to vote on a resolution aimed at protecting commercial shipping in and around the Strait of Hormuz. More than 40 U.S. allies meet to consider diplomatic outreach to Tehran.
Now that we are facing these reckless Iranian attacks on international shipping affecting countries from across the globe who played no part in this conflict, and more than 40 countries coming together for these discussions today, we're clear that we need the diplomatic pressure, the economic pressure.
I'm Elizabeth Neal. Crude oil prices surge as traders weigh conflicting developments, even as fuel shocks continue to ripple worldwide. Today also marks 1 year since President Trump unleashed a wave of tariffs on his so-called Liberation Day. His administration now revealing duties on some imported drugs while adjusting those imposed on steel and other metals.
What will also track this hour, President Trump removing U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi from a post, saying she'll transition to a private sector role. Observers say her handling of the Epstein files had become a political liability for the American leader.
Plus, the Artemis 2 mission completes a critical engine burn, propelling the Orion spacecraft on its journey around the moon. And later,
if the critical Middle Eastern energy sources and supply routes remain constrained for an extended period, the consequences will be severe.
Singapore convenes a ministerial committee to coordinate a national response, while also reassuring citizens the government has the capabilities to navigate the challenges ahead. Elsewhere, Pakistan hikes fuel prices sharply for the second time in less than a month.
the U.S. has struck an iconic bridge in Iran, hitting a key piece of civilian infrastructure after President Donald Trump warned of
This is Sky News, the headlines. A wave of strikes target military bases and bridges in Iran after Donald Trump's threat to bomb the country back to the Stone Ages. Bosses at Marks & Spencer demand action from the government and the Mayor of London in the face of what it calls brazen, organised and aggressive disorder in retail shops. We asked Nigel Farage why Reform UK's sacked housing spokesman has not been kicked out of the party over controversial comments about the Grenfell Tower fire disaster.
He's no longer the housing spokesperson.
Is he still potentially in reform?
Can people be expelled from saying things that are inappropriate and wrong?
And NASA's Artemis 2 astronauts fire up their engines and head to the moon. Good morning. And our top story today, Donald Trump appears to be making good on his threat to bomb Iran. Today, Donald Trump to impose 100% tariffs on imported branded pharmaceuticals. Major bridge in Iran. After the US president century back to Stone Age. Hundreds of petrol stations still without diesel and unleaded at the start of the Easter long weekend. And the Orion capsule carrying 4...
This is DW News. These are our top stories. Humans are flying to the moon again for the first time since 1972. The 4 astronauts aboard the Orion spaceship on NASA's Artemis 2 mission have gone past the point of no return. Performing a so-called translunar injection, the Orion spacecraft fired up its engine and burned towards the moon, leaving Earth behind. President Donald Trump has fired his Attorney General Pam Bondi. Under his leadership, the Justice Department faced heavy criticism. U.S. media reports that the U.S. president had grown increasingly frustrated over perceived failures. U.S. stocks recovered most of their earlier losses. Oil surged as investors worry that supply of oil will continue to be disrupted as the conflict in Iran drags on. This comes after presidents of quick resolution to the war in the Middle East.
Donald Trump says the war with Iran is nearly over with just 2 or 3 more weeks to go. But in the same breath, overwhelming.
Africa News. The news.
A man killed 4 children in the capital around Kudus. The male suspect gained access to the daycare facility by posing as a parent. He first entered the school offices where he briefly engaged the administrator in charge, according to local media. He then stepped outside, locked the gate and began attacking the children, who were reportedly aged between 2 and 3.
Preliminary findings indicate that a few days ago, the suspect allegedly came to this place, Gaba Ali Childhood Development, seeking for admission, and he was told to go back to the school today, where what he did, he actually also paid for the admission, and after that proceeded and attacked these children, killing 4 of them instantly.
Angry residents attempted to lynch the suspect as he tried to escape before security forces intervened and arrested him. Police fired in the air to disperse the crowd. The motive behind the killings remains unclear and investigations are ongoing.
Russian President Vladimir Putin held talks in Moscow with Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati, focusing on the war in the Middle East and economic cooperation. Speaking at the Kremlin, Putin said Russia is, in his words, ready to do everything in their power to help stabilize the situation in the region. I instructed the government to work with our Egyptian counterparts on the issues of supplying food products to Egypt, primarily our grains. Egypt is our partner. Last year, we achieved good results in the agricultural sector, a good harvest. We have absolutely no problems with.
Thanks for joining us. See you again. Take care.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.
Staying with us here on Night Watch on France 24, our main stories for you this hour. Air attacks continue across the Middle East as the conflict enters a 35th day. US strikes hit a major bridge near the city of Karaj, with at least 8 people killed. It comes after Donald Trump's threats to bomb Iran back to the Stone Age. Tehran responded with fresh attacks on Israel and across the Gulf. Memorials are held in Beirut for 3 UN peacekeepers from Indonesia killed in southern Lebanon, where Israeli and Hezbollah forces are fighting. The UNIFIL force says the origin of the explosions that killed the 3 remains unconfirmed. Lebanon says over 1,300 people have been killed, more than 1 million displaced in the past month. And we are go to leave Earth's orbit. Mission Control gives Artemis 2 the all clear for the final engine burn that will slingshot the Orion capsule onward towards the moon, taking humans deeper into space than any crewed mission has gone before.
Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I hope you will come again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.